Hey everybody, Abraham here, and this is part number 2 of what would you actually do? What would you really be like? So I want to tell you this shocking story and see what you would actually do. Big disclaimer, I'm not going to bridle myself in any way. I'm going to tell it exactly like it is, and there's going to be cussing, because I just got to be real about it. And I want you to really listen to this and see if you're really looking at me from a refined place of reality, or if you're looking and judging me from a place of a perfect safety little net, little bubble, where you listen to Hillsong music and oh, it's so great, praise God, while you listen to your Hillsong emotional music, and you listen to promises of liars like Joel Osteen and Joyce Meyer, abomination when women cannot be pastors. Oh, it's so terrible I said that. Yeah, it's in the Bible. And you listen to these sweet things that don't actually get you to do anything. You listen to high emotions. You get high on emotions, right? And then you do nothing. And an hour later, you're back to doing nothing. Instead of learning it the old textbook way, the way that Jesus preached, and you read the Sermon on the Mount, it says in a place, Lord, they have been here with us so long, send them away. They will die of hunger. They will starve out here in the desert with us, out here in the wilderness. And then Jesus broke the bread and the fish. Think of that. They were with him learning it the old textbook way of talking, as I am doing to you, that actually produced results the long way, the way that works. Jesus was not out there with a musical band and speaking with a megaphone with emotional music in the background to get you hyped up on emotions, which does not change anything within your core character, or repenting in your mind to do a different course of action. It doesn't do that, or to change your ideology. That doesn't work. See, what works is you hear the truth, you accept it, and you rip out of you that thing that is corruptive, that thing that is destroying you and causing you to sin. Not with emotional music, what gets you high on emotions, and then 5 minutes later, an hour later, a day later, you go right back to what you were doing before you ever even heard it, like you never even heard it at all. No, you won't find that here, because we are in reality. And we are doing what actually works. The real stuff, like you see in the Holy Bible, not what your misconstrued or manipulated or corrupted idea is of it. So, are you judging me from a place of reality? Or are you judging me from a place of safety and saying, well, if I was in that situation, this is what I would do? From your safe little bubble with no testing and no trial? We're going to find out. So, I really want you to step into reality and walk along with me on this story in my shoes as if you are me. And I want you to see what you would really actually do. Like I said, not from your safe bubble where you think with your perfect ideology and perfect stoic ways that you would actually be something that you're not, the hero out of the movie. No, I want you to step in as if it was you facing this in real life. Like the way Peter said, Lord, I would never deny you. While he's eating supper with Jesus, the master, and he's not being tested. But then when he was on the battlefield alone, and his real character was tested, they came to him thrice and they said, hey, I know you. You're one of Jesus' followers, as Jesus was arrested. And he swore with vows and swearing and cursing, I do not know the man. I swear it. I do not know him. Dude, you're lying, bro. I'm not a part of this. What would you really do? So try to be in that mindset as we walk along on this story. And here we go. My entire life, I've been seen as the stray dog that everyone's forced to put up with, forced to deal with, because I am technically a family member. So, I have not been wanted. Not been wanted, not been loved, not been treated well. Because my dad denied me, said I wasn't his. That was the primary reason for him leaving my mother. And he left me when I was a little boy, showed up when I was 9, left again when I was 13. For 4 years he was here about. And so this made my mother feel rejected. So she went off. And it all fell back on me, and they projected onto me what their defects were. So I was the scapegoat, and I was the one that wasn't wanted. My older brother was seen as a hero, leader of the family, so great. But then he became degenerate because of our horrific childhood, which I do not blame my own parents for. They were in a fallen state, terrible, degenerate state. And I understand that now as an adult, and I don't blame them. My mother changed. She's a decent Christian woman now, so I don't hold anything against her. My older brother's too simple-minded to understand that fact, so he constantly blames her. And we're going to get on with my brothers here soon enough. I had an older brother. I have a younger brother. And I'm the middle son that was rejected, not wanted. My older brother, oh, he's great. He's the leader of the family. When he became super degenerate, oh, it's so sad. But it's not his fault. That's the story he gets. And my little brother, oh, he's the baby of the family. It's so great. Oh, poor little precious little sweetie. Give him the fancy life and pamper his ass and treat him like a little baby. That's him. So, and I was like, fuck it. This one, he's not handsome. He's not as handsome as his other brothers. Fat, ugly, annoying. No, Dad doesn't really think it's his, so I lost everything because of that. So, fuck it. He's out of here. Like, that's how I was treated. So when I asked for something, I had to either beg or threaten or bribe. And that's how I'm treated. If I'm not a paying customer, I'm not a family member. So that has been the constant theme, not just with my family, but with everybody that I come into contact with and is forced against my will to associate myself with through circumstances. Okay, so that has been the constant theme. And I grew up in like a crack house with degenerates all around me and gang members, and I seen how the weaker ones were treated, so I didn't want to be destroyed like them. And since I had the survival mode in me, knowing, like just seeing it and having it told to my face that I'm not really, like I'm like the stray dog that they're forced to put up with. So knowing that I was at that level, at the bottom of the totem pole, I knew that I always had to be able to be convincing, sweet, more intelligent, more convincing, more powerful in every area than everybody else so that I could survive because I'm at the bottom being ostracized. So when I seen the weaker ones be dealt with, and I'm talking real dealt with, by murderers and gang members and drug runners and pimps and whores and everything, when I saw them treat the weaker ones like that, I realized, well, I'm going to continue to survive, so I'm going to throw in with them and become the most reprobate, degenerate piece of shit you can imagine. So I became like, the way you would think a barbaric terrorist is. I was really that in every tiny area of my entire being and all of my ideology and all my mindset and the way I did things and how I was and everything. Super evil to the max in every possible way you can think of. Doing even abominations and horrific crimes. And being a multiple felon before I was even able to get my driver's license. Even trying to kill police officers. So, and others. So, when I say that I was probably the worst human in my area at that time, during my lifespan, rest assured, I'm not exaggerating. That is 100% fact. And let me tell you, so I was really like a plague, and I think Personally, I think it would have been good if rival gangs would have killed me or something when I was in my teenage years. That would have been profitable for everybody, even maybe for me. But God didn't allow that to happen, and I'm here, so here we go. So even though I was reprobate like that, I was forced in that position because my parents, they were super degenerate. So my dad wasn't there most of the time, but he abandoned me, so didn't give a shit about and didn't want me. And about that 4-year period, I was forced against my will every day from when school let out till 10 at night, and every single school day, every weekend, and every summer day, I lived with at my dad's house, which was like an abandoned trailer. And I lived with him in that shithole. Me and my older brother, who is his other son. My younger brother is his son to another dad. So my older brother was legitimate. I was just the tag-along third wheel scum that didn't want to be, that wasn't wanted. So I would have to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning before the sun rose. So it was like 5 or 6. And then I had to go till it was bedtime. So about about 16 hours a day of doing junking, which is we drive around out in the farmland and we pick out farms or properties that had like old cars, old tractors and shit. My dad would go up there and say, we'll cut all this down, melt it all down, sell it to the junkyard. You get half and I'll keep half. And he would give my brother some money and take him to McDonald's and take him to movies and shit, and I wouldn't get nothing. And I had to live like that for 4 years. So that was my childhood. Exciting. Amazing. And my reward at the end of the week, if I was good and I didn't cause any problems or disobey, I was given one thing of $1 candy, like a small little bag of candy, and I got lemon heads. I used to like those when I was a kid. And I would be able to get to watch one of my dad's Steven Seagal movies. So that's what it was. That was my entire pay for the week. And my brother got small allowance every day, and he got taken to McDonald's, and he got to go to movies and do fun shit, bowling, everything with my dad. I didn't get none of that. I wasn't allowed to do any of that because I'm the stray dog that everyone has to be forced to put up with. So I was pretty much like a slave, forced against my will and beaten. And when I say I was beaten, I don't mean that my dad whipped my ass with a belt or something. No, I mean this. And it's not being bad when I said I'm being beaten for being bad. It's not being bad in the way that you might think is being bad, like crazy kids smoking cigarettes, humping girls, and trashing up the house and beating the fuck out of each other. That's not what I was talking about. What I'm talking about is if I told my dad no, or if I made a mistake within the work order of the day or within the entire week, it wasn't get your ass whipped with a belt. It was, my dad was a martial artist, so he would just literally beat the fucking shit out of me like an MMA fighter. Fuck me up bad. That's how it was. So I didn't want to disobey because I didn't want to die. See, I was in survival mode. So that's what it was. He never did that to my older brother. He just did that to me. It's amazing. So, never got paid, never got nothing. What's amazing is that I was the only one out of all of his children. He had 4 children, 2 I never even met. I was the only one of his 4 children that actually went to bury him and to see about his affairs. Amazing. So because I grew up around reprobates in a crack house, I threw in with them, became the worst possible scum you could think of. The most reprobate criminal animal you can think of. And I was the most evil you could think of in any way possible. Being equal to abominations. Doing abominations, doing the most horrific things. So when you see me here saying that I'm a Christian, a true Christian, and I'm swearing and I talk that I get drunk sometimes to escape the pain of my current conditions, and you're thinking, holy shit, that is horrible. How's that even possible that you could say you're a Christian? You're a hypocrite. You're not real. If you would have saw me 15 years ago, 20 years ago, and you see how the Lord helped me to crawl out of the hell that I was. Not that I was in, but that I was. You would say it's a miracle that that's all you're doing wrong right now. And it's not a way to justify it, but when you see a masterpiece, you see first a blank slate, right? Then you see scribbles, then you see eraser marks, then you see all kinds of lines that look like they shouldn't exist. And then before the long-ass process of the many steps that it takes to make a masterpiece like Da Vinci would make. But what you don't understand is that you're seeing the masterpiece at its most perfected end stage. And if you've seen it any time before that, you'd be like, that's not a masterpiece, no possible way. So I had to crawl through years of conforming unto the image of Christ and changing everything within my evil being to rip it out of me, to implant it with a personality trait of Jesus and the things of the Holy Bible, character traits, to replace the evil that was there. And it takes a long time to become those things. Not saying them, not pretending them, not acting like them, but becoming them to be the real person. Okay? The real living, walking Holy Bible person. A walking, living Holy Bible. So, I whittled hundreds of things by the power of the Lord and the guidance and the help of the Lord down to about 3 things left. I have to quit smoking cigarettes. I have to quit drinking whiskey to escape my problems, which rarely, it's not just to escape it, but because of my horrible living conditions. I'm not talking about like physical. I'm talking about how I'm treated and the shit I have to go through. I just want to escape for a couple hours, fuck off of the pain, and be like, oh my God, bro, like just have some fun. Like, oh, please. Like, I've been through hell for so long. So it's kind of like an escape vacation for me. And I have to stop swearing. So I want you to know that at the end of this video, this is the very last video you will ever see me swear. And I'm going to actively, as I have done in many dozens and dozens of different areas and different things, I have repented of and changed my behavior and became the real thing. Not changed it hoping, if I stop doing it, it'll go away. No, ripping out the core trait within me that causes me to want to sin, that causes me to want to swear, so that I don't do it anymore. Because it's not putting a hose or a cap on top of a hose, hoping, I hope this eventually shuts off this bad behavior. No, I'm going to take out the hose and replace it with a nozzle that is already fully capped, permanently destroyed. Permanently destroy the open hose that's continuously shooting out, and replace it with a valve, a cap valve, and change my absolute core trait that it would produce a change in my behavior. See, that's what I'm going to do. I've done that countless, many, many times with other different things in my life. So I'm going to stop the drinking, stop the cussing, stop smoking cigarettes. It's going to end. So you're seeing a masterpiece in work. And this is a training video for you to be able to do the same thing. To just be honest. To just be honest with yourself. I lust for girls. I jack off. I do whatever I do. I'm a dude and I sneakily, stare at other dudes' butts or something. Like, you could be doing that. I agree with homosexuality or transgender, teaching it to little children, though I claim to be a Christian. All these different things you can change. You can be moral. And it just starts off with you being honest with yourself that you really are that way. And then you find the blueprint within the Holy Bible and talking with the Lord in prayer and not being like, I hope this goes away eventually. Lord, please forgive me of it. I'll stop doing it eventually. No, making an actual battle plan. This is step 1, what I'm going to do, step 2, step 3. But ripping it out of you, discovering why you do it, the intention, the motivation, the intent, the reason why you like to do it, why you want to do it, why you think it's a part of you and you enjoy it. Find out what that is. See how, micromanage it, microanalyze it as best you can to see how it is evil. To change your mind about it. Repent of it means to change your mind. And to change your mind about why you think it's good and realizing it's something bad. Thinking, I don't want to stare at Cardi B's ass all the time anymore. Why? Oh my gosh, she's so fine, and all this. This is you thinking this in your head. Oh my gosh, she's so fine, so great. Oh, Cardi B, it's so amazing. And then you go and you look at it. Cardi B, who proclaims with her own mouth, she uses sex to get money from men. So she's a prostitute. She's a dirty, low-down prostitute who only speaks about degenerate behaviors, corrupting other women to become more whore-like. I don't want my daughters around that. I don't want my daughters hearing about that. I don't want my wife being possibly defiled by that mentality and destroying her character. She is more like an enemy to me than a super hot girl I want to have sex with. Damn. No, I'm good, bro. And plus, that's not my wife. That's not who God designed specifically for me. Yeah, I don't want to do it anymore. Cardi B, Nicki Minaj, Beyonce, Rihanna, all the hot girls on TV, all the Instagram models, all the pretty girls on Facebook, they're not mine. And that's wrong. And I was blinded to believe that it was enjoyable by my own senses. Damn. And I look up at Jesus at the cross and I'm thinking, look at how he suffered. Look at how his skin was torn open where he says, my own bones stare back at me. He was able to look inside of his own ripped up, torn up body. They ripped his beard out, spit in his face, mocked him, laughed, stripped him naked and nailed him to a cross in front of his own mother to shame him. And I'm causing that because of my sins. Damn, dude. Why would I do that to the one that loves me the most, who died for me? He's suffering there because of me, what I'm doing. No, I'm not doing that anymore. I will take on honor. I will replace that lusting thing in my core of my character. I will rip it out and I will replace it with honor, respect, love, and loyalty. So when I see pretty girls, I'll be like, damn, dude, you don't even know how bad you're corrupted. It's not beautiful to me anymore. It's not lustful to me anymore because you don't realize how corrupted you are. You're showing the husband that you were created for. You're showing his treasures that is only for his eyes. You're showing it to other people to get affirmation for them from other men. Like you're a drug addict from the affirmation that's causing you to enjoy that. It like stimulates your mind in a way. It's like, oh, I feel so great about it. It's the same as cheating. Because if you think about it, the Lord says, if you commit murder, Moses said if you kill another person, you're guilty of murder. But I tell you that if you hate your brother without cause, you're guilty of murder already. So it's not just the action, but it's the thought. So if you like that affirmation from men, that they want to have sex with you, and they're thinking about, damn, she's so fine. You've already committed the act inside your mind because you know you're causing that lust. I don't want to do it anymore. That's defiled. That's not class. That's trash. I don't want to do it. I feel ashamed. I feel guilty. What will my kids think of me in 20 years? What image am I leaving for my great-grandkids? What if they follow that same idea? And then it leads to my daughter acting whorish, or my granddaughter. And maybe she has a baby out of wedlock and she kills it with an abortion. Or she gets abused by men. She acts whorish like that, but she gets raped or something. Or what if she turns to drugs because of her whore ways and hanging out with the bad people? Oh my God. Can't do it. So I'm going to replace it with honor, loyalty, love, respect, dignity. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. That's how you repent. And you search out the Holy Scriptures where you find these new things that you want to replace the bad things with, like honor, loyalty, and you really discover them. And then you meditate on it. Not meditate on it in like the Hindu or the Buddhist way, but just think about it for a while. Just whenever you're doing stuff, just think, boy, am I being honorable here? Am I dressed honorable? Oh, if I'm a dude, am I looking with honor? What's beautiful? 10 pounds of makeup, boobs out to here like this for girls, booty hanging out, ratchet ass behavior to where they square up with the man like they're going to fight him like they're a man also. Acting like rebellious men, like they're not even soft or gentle or anything anymore. That's not beautiful. That's disgusting, bro. Like, I wouldn't want to date that. Holy shit, bro. So what is beautiful? Soft, obedient, unity. Like we're one. She wants to be with me and wants to make decisions with me, wants to go through the adventure of life together. I know that when I'm not around, she's not going to go out looking like a whore for affirmation of other men. So I can trust her. I can put my life on it. That I could trust my life with you if I was sick, or you can make decisions for the entire family on my behalf. That's what I want. So I'm going to look for that. That's what's up. That's how you change. Having those conversations with you and God. So, I was the worst reprobate criminal there was. Multiple felon before he could even get my driver's license. Stealing cars and trying to kill police officers and others. Most evil person. And me and the Lord walked myself out of that. To this point to where I am now. Only a few things left to fix. And I'm trying my best to do it. So because of my childhood, our childhood combined, all of us that grew up, me and my brothers that grew up in this, my brother becomes like a drug addict who's constantly suicidal and with murderous intent towards others because he can't control himself because of the abuse and the trauma he went through in our childhood. And that now he's like a drug addict, crazy person who constantly torments my mother about how he went through all that terrible living conditions. And he has to be constantly affirmed, like, bro, yeah, it was terrible what you went through. I feel bad. And so he's mentally damaged for life. My brother was so wrecked by that he became a notorious rapist. And he was in prison for almost 10 years for that, for doing it before. And then he got out. I tried to counsel him for years every day. And he snuck out of the house one day. And when I wasn't, because I became like a chaperone to him. Not going to let him get in trouble because I don't want him to go back to his old ways. So he sneaks out. He's like, oh, I'm going to take off a little bit, I'll be right back. He goes to my ex-girl's house, who has my kids. Barges through the door, like what they call burglary. That was one of the charges. Rapes her in front of my children. And then acts like nothing happened when I show up. He gets caught by the police as my ex calls the police. Now, by honor and just feeling like it, I want to murder him. That's my true desire. I would want to kill him. But because I'm a Christian, I can't do that. Because that's not the reality of what it says in the Holy Bible. That's not what God says. I'm not allowed to murder him, which should be dead. So I have to continue to counsel him as he's serving a life sentence in prison now. And I have to go and take special care of my family. That's one area of many areas of trauma that I'm going through right now. And for 7 years, I was without my children. So I buried 2 of my sons with many head traumas and that. I have PBA and PTSD that does not end. And it seems like it's never going to go away. So I have to deal with that. And where I could have been a millionaire by now, by many different routes, going the secular route with my writing abilities, as I was offered a $200,000 a year job in an editorial position, I had to turn that down and I wanted to turn it down, because it wanted me to do the exact opposite of what I'm doing to write evangelistic books for the Lord, to help bring people to Christ. Fun adventure novels to change popular culture back towards morality and build the atmosphere for Christ within common society. And while I'm staying poor to do that, I'm looked down on even more. Where I had the real ability to be a millionaire by now, I'm looked at as the bum as I save every single penny to get it self-published and do it the correct way. Couldn't even accept the book deals that I was already offered because they wanted to change the message within my books to something that had nothing to do with evangelism. So I turned down big money deals on book offers to go self-publishing so that they could not manipulate the story and it stays an evangelistic novel, a fun adventure thing. And I have to save every penny I have to do that. So I have to live on a couch for the last 3 years. As I'm dealing with all that, I'm told that I have ankylosing spondylitis with degenerative discs and advancing arthritis. So my muscles feel like they're stone, and it feels like I'm ripping my body to pieces just to get up and do anything each day. And they tell me that my bone structure is going to form in such a way that it's going to crush my vital organs and I'm going to die a very slow death probably within the next decade. So before I'm even 50, I'm probably going to be dead. My high school to have a wife can't happen now because should I by honor leave her in that position, 5 years of marriage and I die, knowing that I will die? But what about me? I never get to have the thing I wanted most in my life, to be a husband. So I have to wager that out. And then I almost had that, but a bitch wasted 3 years of my life. As she said, I'm not really a Christian at the end when I left her. But I've been a part of a demon-possessed cult that seeks to destroy men. So all the abuse that you went through, that you thought it was your fault, I was actually doing on purpose to destroy you. Now ask yourself, if I swear because of the abuse that I go through every single day, or I get drunk to escape it, is that really so bad? And if you're in my position going through this hell minute by minute every day, what would you actually do? Judge me and tell me.